Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Merav Yuravlivker, co-founder and chief learning officer of Data Society Group. And today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Lori Sherer, who has been a partner at Bain Company for over a decade. Beyond that, she's also the chairwoman of Women in Data Science, a nonprofit that seeks to elevate and inspire women to excel in the field of data science and AI, which was founded at Stanford University. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you, Merav. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm curious to hear about Bain specifically, and we know that Bain's been on the forefront of generative AI's expansion. So how is Bain leading the adoption of AI? And you mentioned a little bit about the partnership with OpenAI. I would love to hear more about that as well.
Yeah, we really sort of got lucky. A large part of our consulting practice is consulting to the private equity funds and doing diligence on deals that they might be considering. And somehow through that channel, we became acquainted with the folks at OpenAI, and they came to see us as being technically quite competent. And when they launched ChatGPT, I don't think they fully anticipated the response from the enterprise market. And they were a very small organization at the time, around 300 employees and about 5 or 6 people who really had business development type roles. And obviously, it was a major, thing for the enterprise market. And as a consulting firm that has deep expertise in all of the vertical markets, healthcare, financial services, manufacturing, we have a presence in all of those industries and domain knowledge that is very valuable, because that domain knowledge is important when we think about how do we overlay an application on the large language model foundation. How do we actually craft it in such a way that it creates business value? So they really opened their doors and opened their arms to us and helped us educate clients about the art of the possible. And in exchange, we have helped them address the demand in the corporate marketplace. So at this point, we've done over 300 ground up, bottom up solution builds and implementations across all the major verticals and in almost every functional area of the business: customer service, marketing, research and development, supply chain, finance, you name it. So we have a lot of cumulative experience with boots on the ground, actually helping our clients adopt the technology, and also helping our clients' IT and data science organizations learn the competency, prompt engineering, and all of, RAG databases and so on, all of the competencies required to build and maintain their own solutions. What we do with them is get them started, but ultimately they have to be able to take these tools over and maintain and grow them as products. So it's been just a really exciting time to be at the forefront of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you're seeing all of these projects and seeing the success of your clients, how do you see the future of the workforce evolving as generative AI and AI tools become more advanced?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, because that's one of my favorite questions. In fact, I'm running an event with Bain is sponsoring, co-sponsoring with Women in Data Science, an event to explore that topic, because it's very early days. And even though we feel like we have a bit of a lead in this area, we're learning every day, as are our clients, on what's going to be required going forward. So I think in the short term, there are some very specific talent gaps that we see our clients having. Certainly in the builder community, the people in the IT organization or the data science organization that are struggling to figure out how to build these applications and implement them. They have some talent gaps that are very specific. Unless you are a software company that builds software, most IT departments don't typically build software. So we are working with them to understand, how do you stand up a cross-functional team? How do you bring the domain experts and the data scientists to the table? How do you involve legal to make sure the things you're doing are safe and will pass regulatory scrutiny in some instances? And really standing up a cross-functional team that has product management and user discovery skills. It's been really exciting to help our clients build that competency. and point out to them sort of some of the job descriptions and some of the skills that they need to start to attract that kind of talent to be able to do this at scale going forward. And then on the functional side, I'm working right now in a commercial organization or the marketing organization. When you go to implement these tools, it's literally changing the jobs of the marketer. And so there's an upskilling, there's a training, there's an AI literacy, and then there are business process redesign skills as well, because it's not only changing the tasks that they do and the way they do them, but it's changing the workflow. Uh,
Mm.
Whereas in this particular instance, our client may have been leveraging agency resources for some parts of the creative process. With these tools, they're able to bring that creative process in-house. So it's really empowering the marketer to take control over the creative process, to be able to personalize content to the specific segments that they're addressing, and to really own that part of the work process. So people think, oh, this might replace jobs, and I guess there are some repetitive sort of work tasks that will go away. But in this case, we're actually empowering the users to take on more work that they might have otherwise passed on to the agency. So I do think there'll be puts and takes. There'll be many new jobs that are created, and obviously some of more repetitive type work will be supplanted by these tools. But we're running this event. We're going to bring folks from the builder community, folks from the business transformation community, and their talent or HR counterparts into the room to really flesh out what are the short-term sort of talent gaps and upskilling that needs to happen. And then longer term, as we think about this technology doesn't just replace old work with a new way of doing that work. In many cases, it's enabling work that's never been done before. So we think the future of this is like real innovation and real transformation of business models entirely. So that's exciting when you look out around the corner of what this is going to enable.
And what I'm hearing from you is very much almost a partnership between these tools and then the people who are bringing that context, that direction to the table, to potentially open up a whole new world that we didn't have access to before, and that's really exciting to think about. While also, of course, being mindful of how the job landscape will shift as some jobs take on more responsibilities while others might not. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for example, I saw a demonstration. One of our lead creative people from our innovation design team was demonstrating Midjourney and some of the new tools or functionality that's available through Figma, which are the tools that they use in the design world. And what he was able to do with those tools just blew me away and made it very clear to me that you give me those tools and I don't have the creative skills, creative background, I'm not going to produce the same kind of output that he was producing using those tools. So to me, it just really, I kind of coined this phrase of like really changing the value of the human and the human in the loop. He's going to become even more and more valuable, and his skill set and ability to use those tools to full potential is incredible. So you think about the value of expertise too. Like, we
Hmm.
all try to build expertise over the course of our career. Well, when all of the knowledge on a given topic is available at your fingertips and your keyboard, or even just speaking to a large language model, what is the value of expertise? I think it's going to be an analog to the creative example. I think an expert is somebody who can really synthesize, make sense of, apply creative judgment and reasoning above and beyond just the collection of the facts. And I think these tools will really augment and amplify the value of expertise. Um, and I think, the softer skills, which have always been very valuable, certainly in our world, we recruit some of the brightest talent coming out of university every year. And we're looking for raw problem solving skills, the ability to reason, the ability to uh, analyze, synthesize, and come to some conclusions and to solve problems. But we're also looking for people that can assemble a cross functional team, that can have the interpersonal skills and the communication skills to drive an innovation process, those are going to become even more critical in this world where we have where our raw capabilities are augmented by these large language models.
Absolutely. I think we're seeing a lot of those same trends as well. Shifting gears a little bit, within your professional career, I'm sure the landscape has shifted in terms of the people around you. And how have you seen the participation of women in data science and in leadership evolve?
Yeah, well, I've been really lucky that I've been surrounded by really talented women in every job that I've been in. The team at FICO was mostly women. Um, I'm aware that the statistics are that was a bit of an anomaly. The statistics are sort of under 15% representation of women in leadership positions in these fields of data science and AI. We'd love to see that climb to at least 30%. And there's a lot of good research that shows that 30% is the tipping point where the dialogue really changes. There's been research on women participation in boards, for example, where a board is typically 10 or 12 people. If there's one woman, doesn't seem to change the dialogue much. If there's two, doesn't, but at three, there's a quorum and the dialogue really shifts. So we're very focused at WIDS on supporting women in their careers, getting more women to pursue this academically and to get advanced degrees and post their college or university experience, inspire them to really achieve full potential so that we can actually have greater representation of women at the top. I think it's just so important when we think about what I was just saying before about the softer skills of communication and collaboration being incredibly important in having high functioning, innovative teams. Also, there's a lot of ethical and societal implications of this technology, not the least of which is that the data that a lot of these models are trained on are biased. They're biased by the world we live in. And so we need diversity in all of its forms at the decision-making table as we examine these things critically and we think about the ethical and responsible application of these models. It's just never been more important than it is now.
Yeah, especially as more and more of our world is being run by data, right? Where does that data come from and how does it reflect the society that we live in?
Yes,
Both crucial questions that we'll need to
absolutely.
continue to ask.
Yeah, and we're not going
Um,
to be able to rewrite the corpus of the data that we can't rewrite history, right? So we need people who are applying critical thinking and judgment to the way these things are being applied. And yeah, that we have to handle it on the back end. We can't rewrite history.
100%. I know we're getting close to time, so I want to finish out on this question, which is, what is one piece of advice that you would give to someone who wants to grow in their career alongside AI?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. I don't know if I have one piece of advice, but I'll try. I mean, I think the ability to team, the ability to function on a cross-functional team, and I say diversity in all of its flavors because it's really ultimately it's diversity of thinking, diversity of background. So I
Hmm.
think the one piece of advice to become a really important change maker in this next wave of technology in our field is just to really focus on those teaming skills and the ability to really work well with people who have very diverse points of view and to really leverage the best of that diverse thinking to drive really great outcomes.
I love it. Lori, thank you so much for joining us today. Please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews and follow Lori Sherer along on LinkedIn to see how her career will continue to progress. Thank you again.
Thank you, Merav. It's been a real pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity.